Now that Flax is changing one of its writing tasks to make it a read to write task, where students will read an article or articles and have to write some kind of task using information from those readings in their writing, we've been getting a lot of questions about how to find these texts, which in my opinion is the most difficult aspect of this whole process of creating a read to write task. Once you have a really good text or good text, creating the task is not that difficult. So I'm going to share with you three strategies or three tools that I use to help find texts in the target language that are level appropriate for our students. The very first strategy I use is to go to Google search. And I love Google. I don't work for Google, but honestly, there are so many things about Google that are really good and helpful. And one of them is their search bar. Whether you type here or whether you type directly into the top bar, what I tend to do when I want to look for a text is I try to think, okay, what might I see in this text that I want? So for example, say I want to find a reading about cell phones. I might say, les adolescents ne doivent pas avoir des portables. Good, I guess I must have typed that in before. And I will get numerous results that I can quickly click on and see if it's something of interest to me. This happens to be a video, but I can quickly go through. I mean, I could also just shorten it and say les adolescents et les portables and see what comes up that way. And sometimes you just have to really play around with what you're typing in. I could change it and say les enfants. Do I get something different than les enfants instead of adolescents? So right here I get a bunch of results. Just a couple of things while we're in here. There is an advanced search. The advanced search does give you some cool features, such as you can choose the language you want all the results to be found in, the region they're from, how recently they've been updated. And especially for teachers, if you're looking for a PowerPoint on something or a PDF, you can query that way. And there is a reading level, although I have to say I don't use it because when I do, for example, say show only basic results or show only intermediate results, it limits the number of hits that I get so much, and for some reason it totally changes the type of results I get. So I do not use it for foreign language. For English, I think it would be great, but for some reason, for what we're doing, it is not that helpful to me. Additionally, say you could just look for images that have to deal with your subject. For French, I do not find this as helpful. I will show you when I do a Spanish query that sometimes is very good because there have been so many more publications in the US, or because we tend to do brochures and pamphlets than I think other countries, it seems. It's easy sometimes to find brochures and pamphlets on a topic in Spanish. However, I do want to, while I'm here in images, let me just show you. Whenever you're in one of these, whether it's web, news, you get search tools that are specific to this search. So for images, you can pick size, color, type, usage rights if you want to have those filtered by that are free for you to use. And similarly with videos, and this is one that I use a lot when I'm looking for videos for our Checkpoint A and B students. If I hit search tools, I can pick the duration of the video. So usually you just want something very short. Again, I could pick out how recently it's been uploaded, the quality. I do like the sources. You could pick whether you only want YouTube's, you only want something from Dailymotion, or they have foreign language video providers. And I find that very helpful. But getting back to finding text, this is what I use. I do try to think of what I'm looking for. For example, I'm going to switch to one more in French. Le petit déjeuner. Oops, sorry, I can't even type here. Le petit déjeuner et le repas. And then I can see le plus important de la journée. most important meal of the day, and I can get a bunch of texts relating to that topic. So I think of things like that. Let's go to Spanish. Let's pick similar topics. I'm going to pick the one that we just did here. El desayuno. Uno es, here it is, la comida más importante. And again, I get a lot of topics. But here's where I can say the differences in Spanish. If I go to images, I will sometimes find, because there'll be more brochures or pamphlets, I don't really know why, but the image search is just a little more effective for that, for us. 10 good reasons to have breakfast. And what's nice about these is usually they're bulleted, there's pictures, they're just perhaps easier for our Checkpoint A students and even Checkpoint B students to negotiate. So for Spanish, I do find that also helpful. Again, let's try the cell phone query. Los celulares y los adolescentes. Y los adolescentes. Okay, sorry, I had to repeat that. The phone rang. And again, all right, very similar. A lot of articles on cell phone use and teenagers. Images here I do not believe is going to help me. I don't think we see any. I don't see any brochures. So it depends on your topic. So my first strategy or my first resource is Google search. Searching in the target language, trying to think of what I would expect to see in the text or article I'm looking for, and querying for that. My second resource is Twitter. And I know a lot of people are afraid of Twitter or don't like Twitter. I happen to love it for a couple of reasons. One is I follow newspapers and magazines in the target language, and as you go through my feed, or as I go through my feed, I see they just keep coming. Like here's Actualité 24, grippe, l'épidémie est arrivée, the flu, the epidemic has arrived. I can click on it. I can see if it's an article of interest to us, if I'm doing health or something, or talking about flu around the world, and I can print it, I can save it, I can bookmark it. I will say most of the articles I do get from Twitter are mostly for IB and AP students. However, many times I'll get a little political cartoon that I can use. I still get a lot of resources that way. The other aspect of Twitter is having a professional learning community, and I do follow language teachers, technology leaders. If you look at who I'm following, for example, I follow the AATs, Laurie Clark, for example, Flenge, Language Classroom, Nell, Glastonbury Language, and individual language teachers that tweet a lot of resources. I also, since technology is my job, I follow a lot of technology people. Thirdly, the third way I use Twitter is through the use of hashtags. Hashtags are just really search engines again. So if I put a hashtag in front of something, you can see some of the hashtags I've used. This LangChat one, LangChat, is great. It's foreign language teachers communicating in Twitter, and when they want to post something they think is of interest to other language teachers, they put a hashtag on it, and if I search it, I can see everything that's been posted. Like here's Language Learn, ACTFL, and sometimes they will share text, resources, whatever. So this is my professional learning community. So 3 ways I use Twitter. I follow newspapers and magazines in the target language. I follow educators and organizations that are big in our field. And I do searches. You could do hashtag Common Core, hashtag French, whatever, and you will get things. But LangChat is a big one. By the way, they meet every Thursday night online, and they all deal around one topic. They vote on the topic, and then that night they will discuss whatever that topic is and offer their ideas and their strategies for dealing with whatever topic it is. So Google search, Twitter, and then finally my last go-to has become my most fun. I enjoy it. It is addicting, and that is Pinterest. Pinterest is really a big organizational board of websites, pictures, resources that you find. If I go to my pin boards, you can organize them alphabetically. And what I do is whenever I find anything online, I grab it and I pin it and I put it in a board that makes sense. So if I find an article, for example, about why foreign language learning is important, I'll put it in advocacy. If I find something on assessment, on ways to assess anything, especially in foreign language or technology, I put it in assessment. Here's a board that really what we're talking about is finding resources. Whenever I find something that I think can be used by my teachers or foreign language teachers in their classroom, it could be a film, it could be a picture, it could be an article, I place it in here. And this is just, I just mix all the languages together. So for example, here's an article I thought was cute. It's a little article about a trend of people in France naming their kids Nutella and fraise, fraise being a strawberry. I thought that was interesting. There's one about a new kind of vaccine, a way of vaccinating. Here's a receipt, so there's some realia that gets posted in here. There are short vids, there are infographics, there are things about the holidays. So I post anything that I think could be considered an authentic resource for foreign language teachers in this board. But I have lots of other boards. I have boards on, of course I'm big on technology, so Chrome, Google Classroom, technology for teachers, but in terms of foreign language, comprehensible input, that whole way of teaching foreign language, heavy use of the target language, teaching frequently used vocabulary and expressions, daily routines, one whole board on daily routines, some really great resources in that one for teaching daily routines. I have a board for German, FLES, FLAX exams, Francophonie, Frenchisms, German random, holidays around the world. And then I have boards that people would laugh at them. Like there's one called Let's Drink, Let's Eat. Those are not about drinking and eating, except they are in that they're all just anything related to food in Spanish, French, German, and beverages in French, Spanish, German. This has become one of my favorite boards, lesson planning, all activities, good for the classroom. Let's Talks, pictures that serve as speaking prompts, markets around the world. I love this one, really great pictures for markets, the marketing, shopping in different places. Realia in Spanish, rubrics, Spanish random. So anyway, I'm shared Tech for Teachers, World Cup, I did a lot of boards on that. So here's someone who follows me. What happens is when they go to their homepage, they get whatever I've been pinning comes down their daily feed. Likewise, anyone I'm following, I will see what they're pinning. I follow, again, educators. I follow people that do a lot of pinning in the things I'm interested in. And this is where I get the most up-to-date information. It is my go-to resource. Since I am really in charge of instructional technology in my district, I want to know when something has just been announced. With Google Classroom, almost every week there's some new feature, some new add-on to this platform, and I want to know about it. And likewise, I have a lot of great people I'm following for French, Spanish, German, and I'm getting some great resources from them. What you could do is look and see who I'm following, and you can decide to follow those same people. So Pinterest is a great place for storing, organizing, and finding resources. So to conclude this, what are ways to find authentic text for our Read to Write text? Google search, searching in the target language, Twitter, following educators, following magazines and newspapers, participating in language chats or hashtag searches, and then finally Pinterest. I wish I could talk about more. I mean, once you find these texts, especially ads, how do you tweak them to be more level appropriate for your kids? That's another whole workshop or session. But I hope that these ideas help you find some texts as you try to create your own Read to Write text for practice.